I'm interested in seeing your thoughts in the discussion forum on Bill and Ted's concept of philosophy. Uh, one thing I hope you noticed is, all we are is dust in the wind is, or are the lyrics from an old song. I'm not quite sure what they're, what they mean, but they certainly are not very profound. Even though Bill and Ted seem to think that they are. And certainly Socrates, or at least the character in the movie, was very impressed with it. But I'm curious to see what you think, what we would discuss if the class was just sitting around and each of us just making statements that we thought were, particularly wise. It wouldn't really be a learning experience. So maybe to get a better idea of what philosophy is, we can take a look at the etymology of the word. That is, the etymology has to do with the word origin, where the root of the word comes from. And philosophy is derived from two Greek words. Remember, I said we're going to be studying classical Greek philosophy. Philosophy originated in Greece, or certainly this kind of thought originated in Greece. There were people who studied disciplines that were similar to this in religious contexts, in other contexts, in the Middle East, elsewhere in the Middle East, in Asia. But philosophy itself is really a Greek word. It comes from two Greek words, philos, love or love of, and Sophia. So philosophy was the love of wisdom. And I mentioned in the introduction to the course that we're going to be reading Plato's Republic. And in Plato's Republic, Plato tells us that we're going to get the perfect state when philosophers become kings or kings become philosophers. So he thinks that philosophers ought to be kings, and then in explaining what philosophers are is that the true philosopher is the lover of wisdom. Now, it may have been true in ancient Greece that everyone who was a lover of wisdom was called a philosopher, but I think if you guys think about it, there are a lot of people who love wisdom or lovers of knowledge and wisdom that are not philosophers. There are people who are experts in sports, who know everything about a particular sport. They certainly are lovers of a certain kind of wisdom. They might be lovers of baseball wisdom, lovers of football wisdom. They might even be general lovers of sports wisdom, but they certainly aren't philosophers. And in addition to which, you take courses in this school from many people who love their subject, but their subject is not philosophy. It's biology, it's history, it's sociology, it's political science. It's not philosophy. So then the question is, how do we identify philosophy? And it's a little bit tough, but if we go back to the historical roots, I think we'll take a look about how the use of philosophy and what's counted as philosophy has changed. And then we'll take a look at some of the problems that are characteristic of philosophy. And I think that's going to help us really get a better idea of what philosophy is.